So, what did we just learn? Quite a bit. So, you want to hold your gun at an angle. Sometimes I forget to put words to this. I've been doing it a while, so it just seems kind of natural. But you always want to hold the gun at a slight angle. You don't want to be straight up. You don't want to be too low. About 75 degrees, okay? About 75 degrees is a real happy place for you to hold the gun. And I'll put my elbow on the table and even rest the gun on my free hand and actually steer the gun with my free hand. That's kind of the technique that I use when I'm welding. I don't try to weld one-handed like this. You're just going to be all over the map, right? You want to hold it carefully and just make these little curly cues. I envision these little like cursive E shapes. Okay? You also don't want to be too far away from your work, from your material, from your work. You want to be about 1/4 of an inch, but you don't want to be too close. If you're too close, you'll get too much spatter and your wire feed will get welded onto the tip of your gun, which is a pain. So we can look at these welds a little bit. I think here, this one right here, I was going too fast, and so I didn't get a good weld there. This one is better. You want a consistent weld. It got really nice towards the end. I like that. All right, so I'm going to do another one now that we've discussed some of the procedures, and you can watch. So remember, I'm going to hold the gun at an angle. I'm going to be about 1/4 of an inch away from my work surface, and then I'm going to make curly cues, about, curly cues or little donuts, or little linked up donuts, or little cursive E's. All right. So what else can I tell you about it? Well, you might be wondering, like, how come I can sit at the table, and put my hands on it? Why am I not getting electrified? Well, it's because the ground is hooked on to the work surface over here. If you guys remember the ground, it's over here. And it's not what's happening to make the weld happens between the ground surface, the work table, and the gun and your working material. You would need to put the ground, you need to attach it to your body, okay? And then you need to weld onto yourself. And you'd probably have to start with a piece of metal that you're wearing or it's on your clothing. Then you would probably be in big trouble. So it's, the industry of metalworking and welding has been established, as you all know now, for well over a century. And if we think about even back to the days of, foundries and casting, bronze, it goes back for millennia. So MIG welding is very, very safe. It's made that way because industries rely on it. We can't have people getting hurt. So you put your ground over here, hook it onto the table, and just don't weld yourself. Another way that people do get hurt often, though, in MIG welding, not terribly, but it can be very painful, is you will pick up the metal right after you've welded, and it is red hot. But sometimes the metal, it looks like it's cooled down, and it hasn't. So just leave your metal alone. Obviously always have good work gloves that don't have holes in them. I'm gonna recommend you guys, you know, we have work gloves here, but everybody uses them. I think it would probably be safer for you guys to get your own. You can go get some good leather work gloves at hardware sales for $12. If you're gonna use the gloves here, we're gonna have to ask you to wear nitrile gloves underneath, okay? Or you're gonna have to hand sanitize before you put them on. That's just kind of the situation we're in right now. All right, I'm gonna do another weld now that we've talked about this for a while. All right? So give me 1 minute. So every once in a while, your wire feed might get too long. See? Whoa, it's all this. We don't need that. That is not going to work. So that's why you always have a snip handy, because you want to cut it to about 1/4 inch, which is about as far as you want to be from your work. There we go. Now I'm going to put on my helmet and I'm ready to weld. Not bad. So, what did I do? Pretty good, huh? I mean, you know, I don't do this every day, but MIG welding is such a great tool. It's fun, it's really accessible. There is a learning curve, of course, to get like understanding how far you need to be from the material with the tip of your gun, how fast you need to go. There's a sound, you know, you heard the sounds. When it's nice and an even, constant sizzle, that's what you want to hear. When you heard those little pops and the stops, that's not good. That means something, you've had the arc has been broken. So, okay. Sorry, I've had to make a few edits here because my mind is in so many different places. I get so excited when I'm welding. So these two welds turned out okay. Right? Okay. So, what do we do now? You just leave? No way. The welder's still on. There's stuff everywhere. So, how do we turn this thing off? Oh my God. I think I know. But just do the opposite of what you did to turn it on. So let's have a look at that, shall we? First thing I like to do is just turn the machine off right here. Oh, there we go. Gotta really kind of mean it. That's nice. Okay, and then I like to turn the gas off. So we turned it counterclockwise to turn it on clockwise to close it. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. All right, so that's nice. And then, basically, you're just going to wind up. All right, winding up my ground clamp. You don't have to do it tightly. Nice, just be nice to the cable. We don't want the cable to get damaged. And then you put your gun away in the same fashion. Okay. Now, if there are any chunks of metal, then you should clear off the table once you're done working. Put any tools back, put your gloves back, or put them back in your locker. We'll have a 5-gallon bucket here that you can put scraps and bits of metal in. But mostly you guys are going to use up all of your pencil rods, so you shouldn't really have that much. You guys are not going to have that much scrap because you're going to, part of the assignment is to use up all of your material. So that's cool. Okay, we've turned it on, we've used it, we've turned it off. And that's about it, folks, for the welding demo. When we all get back together, I will demonstrate some techniques for welding the rod, preparing the material. But mostly you're all going to take the quiz, and then you're going to get 100%. And then when we meet face-to-face on January 20th, you're all going to come dressed and ready to weld. And everyone will have to lay down at least one satisfying bead before you can be released from your welding training and begin working on your first project. Okay? Thanks for watching. Now, take that quiz. I'll see you soon. Bye.